Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross, where the rock never stops. Tonight I want to do a video about why Jimmy Butler, once again, reminds us why he is considered a superstar. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Yo, let me just be clear, superstar is not a term to hand out lightly. There are some foundational criteria that must be accomplished before you could ever be considered a superstar. One, you got to consistently be an all-star. That means consistently, season after season after season after season. We widely consider you one of the best top 10, top 15 players in the NBA, period. Any superstar is not hard to discern that they're the best player on the court. At any point in time, you never see a superstar step onto the court, play a game, and look back and go, where was he? Was he really there? Did he make an impact? You have to understand the mentality and the makeup of a superstar. When they're on the court, they carry what we call gravity. That means the ability to draw so much attention from the defense that it forces that defense to react to everything that they do, even if they don't even have the ball. And Jimmy Butler is one of those dudes who, since his ascent with the Chicago Bulls, has solidified himself as a superstar. He has consistently been one of the better players in the NBA, night in and night out. But that's just kind of like the foundational criteria. You've got to be one of those dudes. But there's a lot of guys who have been multiple-time All-Stars who you would never consider a superstar. The next level of criteria is in the playoffs. How do they show up? And Jimmy Butler is one of the greatest playoff performers, probably in NBA history. When we really think about what it means to be a preeminent playoff performer, we have to begin to really look at what a player does when they get into a series at any point in time. You see, there's some guys who get into a playoff series and they disappear. There's some guys who can't handle the pressure. There's some guys who fold when things get really tight. There's some guys who just can't figure it out. But then there's other guys who elevate their play. There are guys who rise to levels upon levels upon levels. There are certain guys in the NBA. To be a superstar is to say it doesn't matter how outmatched you might be in any given playoff series. You can get your team one game. That means for at least one game, you can impose your will and dominate to the point where you can get your team a victory in the playoffs when it matters the most, when the team has all the time in the world to prepare to stop you and it doesn't matter because you're just that good. And that's what Jimmy Butler has done time and time again. But he goes actually to another level. And this is the thing that really makes Jimmy Butler unique. He's not really a regular season guy. He's not an 82 games a year guy. He's kind of like Kawhi Leonard, except without load management, because he really does want to play, but he plays so damn hard. He always gets hurt all the time, kind of like D Wade, right? But when he's in the playoffs, 9 times out of 10, he walks away with you looking at him and many times saying he was the best player in the series. He was the best player when 2 playoff teams line up. It doesn't matter how big of a superstar the other team has. He has always walked away, if not the best player, barely right beneath him. And in this series against the Milwaukee Bucks, he's doing it once again. So far, he has been the best player in this series. He has outperformed Giannis Antetokounmpo, an MVP, an NBA champion. He has outperformed All-Star Drew Holiday and All-Star Chris Middleton. When you look at the supporting cast that he has, it really is porous to say the least. It's weak. It's a bunch of role-playing guys who would be number 7, number 8 on most other teams. Even Bam Adebayo, as much as you respect him and you like him, he's not necessarily a number 2 guy. I don't think anybody would think that he's the number two guy. We've been waiting for the past 3 years for him to step into that role and show that he can be a consistent offensive performer as much as he impacts the game on the defensive end. And he's just not that guy. And yet, Jimmy Butler finds a way to drag this team to the conference finals or the semifinals almost every single season. Why? Because he's a superstar. Because he understands how to elevate his game. He understands how to operate under pressure. And his physical and imposing style of play is suited for these moments. Tonight, he dropped 56 points against the Milwaukee Bucks, the number one seed in the NBA. This has been a team that's been dominating with and without their superstar. And yet, he has shown that it doesn't matter whether the superstar is there or not. He can still walk away and be the best player on the court. Now, I do think he was able to take advantage of a little bit of Giannis Antetokounmpo being a little rusty after getting injured in Game 2 and then sitting out in Game 3. But now in Game 4, when they needed to even up the series, Giannis was not able to overcome Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is one of probably the biggest NBA playoff performers that we have seen over the past 10 to 15 years. If I'm honest, probably the only person that I can see that's probably matched him is LeBron James and maybe Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is one of those dudes where it's like when he plays, he consistently dominates, especially in the playoffs, because of that physically imposing style. Now, of course, you got guys like Steph Curry, but Steph Curry, at times, if we're honest, in the past has been injured and things like that, or he gets a little passive and he's not able to exactly impose himself in a game. Now, the past couple of years in the playoffs, he's done a lot better, and he's shown that he's added that element to his game, but it hasn't always been there. Jimmy Butler, it's been there for a long time now, and we can no longer deny it. Championship or not, we always have to remember championships are about team. They're not about just one guy. But when one guy consistently shows up and says, it doesn't matter the team that I have around me, I can take them as far as I can get them in the playoffs. Meaning I don't just get to the playoffs. I'm advancing in rounds. I'm giving us a shot. Every year that I'm here, we are a potential contender. And when we look at different people like Luka Doncic, right, who people have been trying to egg on to be the face of the league and the next great one to come along, as talented as he is, in the playoffs, you would still choose Jimmy Butler. You would still choose Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler understands the game. He understands leadership. He understands how to play on both ends of the court. You have to remember he was locking down Giannis Antetokounmpo on one end of the court while dropping 56 on the other. But as always, I want to know what you all think. How far do you think Jimmy Butler can actually take the Miami Heat this year? Kyle Lowry's starting to look healthy again. Kevin Love is starting to contribute. You're starting to get the role players. And even without Tyler Hero, this team is still clicking. Even Duncan Robinson made a showing in this game. Let me know what you think. How far can the Miami Heat go this year with Jimmy Butler leading the way? You think that the Milwaukee Bucks will be able to come back from this deficit? Let me know in the comments section. I'm going to holler at y'all next time. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button for me, hit subscribe, and the bell for notifications. Peace.